Heidi, hi. Right, we are going to look at armchairs and sofas. I've got an enormous corner sofa that's a sofa bed. So I'm not going to show you on that one. I'm just going to give you some ideas on a normal little chair. But the principles are the same. You know, you'll see it's the same areas, seams, around fabric edges, those sorts of areas. This might help you not only with your kit, if you buy the kit, but also just inspecting yourself at home. So I don't have a lot of space at home. So for the purposes of this exercise, we're going to pretend that this mattress behind me is a wall in your home. Okay, so we've got a nice little chair. This could be any kind of armchair possible. So let's assume we've got a cushion on the chair and maybe a little blanket. So when I'm doing inspections, initially, at this stage, we don't know if there's actually bed bugs, so we're just looking. So just remove the cushion. I check along any seams where the zips are, open these little areas up, look down there. You may well find bed bugs, fecal trace, eggs in those areas. Also, little tucked in corners in the cushion. So just have a quick look at that. Then we get to if it had a blanket on it, I'd fold that up and pop it on the floor near the chair, because as I say, at the moment we don't know. If we do find bed bugs, we'll use the laundry bags, put it in there, get it washed. So first, just a visual inspection of the exposed areas along any, around any pads, any seams, just what you can see presented. But behind is really what we're interested in, behind and underneath, because it's that hiding behaviour. So we're going to take the chair away from the wall and we'll turn it round. Okay, so again, we're checking along these areas, along any seams, down the sides. If there are arms on the sofa or the armchair, turn the chair upside down and look underneath the arms. Okay, so it's a bit of a weird one, but that also seems to be a really popular hidey hole for them. So, fortunately, this is my chair at home, so there's no signs on here. So no evidence in the areas. Actually, this chair has got... Okay. So I don't know if you can see clearly here, but there are folds in the fabric as the fabric is fitted in around the arm. So again, just taking a little look in there. If you've got a torch, a head torch or something, just having a little look in each of those. Okay, so we're going to check those. And then we go to the underneath. So most chairs, sofas, and even beds, you find this black fabric stapled or nailed, pinned underneath. So with all of these types of fabrics, the main area to be concerned with is around these edges. This is where you're likely to find bugs hiding or shed skins being deposited. As they come in and out, the skins just sort of slough off them. And you find those things around these edges. Pay particular attention around feet, wheels, legs, simply because the bed bug gets up into the chair somehow. If they've come from the floor, their only point of access is up the legs. Some furniture you can screw these off, have a look underneath. You can't on this one, they're very fixed, but you're just really having a good look. This black fabric is really good for spotting the eggs. If you look in the Facebook group Bedbugs Facts and Evidence, look through my posts, you'll see pictures of eggs on this type of fabric, and they're really easy to spot. And that's basically it. You just make it bigger for a bigger sofa. It's going to just take a little bit longer, a few more areas to check. So then when it comes to treatment, so I have my chin checks here. I'm going to open up for you. I'm going to use the same brush, actually. Health and safety first. Let me go and grab a mask. I'm not using a lot of it, but just for safety purposes, we're gonna pop a mask on. Again, I'm using the same one that's provided in the kit. And we just popped that, I don't know if you all remember, you know, the 2020 years when we all put our masks on. Just pinch the strip around your nose. Hopefully you can still hear me. And for those of you that lip read, I apologise. Okay, so I have my chin checks and I have my brush. Okay, now this is quite a round brush. You can use a flatter brush if you want, or you can just squeeze this brush so you make it a little bit narrower. And now we're going to go into how much do I use. So I'm literally dipping the brush in, giving it a little tap. I'm sure you can see a little bit of it in the air. It is quite a light product to use. And we're going to brush that. Oops, there go my glasses. It's okay, I don't need them. And we're just going to apply a light dusting around the legs, along the seams. You can see I haven't even reapplied the brush into the powder yet. There is enough on the brush to give, in fact that's a little bit too much there. And we're just going to add that to those areas. But again, we're only going to do this if we've actually found evidence of bed bugs on the chair. Otherwise, we're going to do nothing. So a little bit round all those entry points. Squash my glasses. And also, same again. Little dip in the powder, tiny amount on the brush. I mean it's really small, and we're just going to add a little bit of that to those seams, and we're going to repeat that over all of the seams on these furnitures. When it comes to the front, you can add a little bit along these seams as well. And when I say to you it is a minute amount of this product that you need, I'm not kidding. Okay, this is why you need so little. I've literally dipped the brush in the powder twice. I've done all of the underneath, I've done some of the seams, you know, so just less is more, okay, is all I'm going to say. Some sofas have buttons up the back or in the arms, and again it's worth treating around those, because again it's a little area that they can hide in, just behind the button. It's a nice little hidey hole, and again small amount of powder and just all over each of those buttons, and that's it. That's as little as you need to use. So yeah, so this is, where are my glasses? Over here. Take my mask off because I only used a tiny amount. So that's how simple the product is to use, and that's the kind of areas you put it on, and the level of, you know, and you're gonna brush this powder in a bit better, so it's not, you know, when you sit in the chair it's not going to go whoosh and all puff up into the air again. It's just a very light application, and then we leave that down. If you were going to pop a lethal harbourage on, which is also another good idea, again this is only if you've actually found bed bugs in that room, on that furniture, whatever. Quite often you find in a family home there are 1 or 2 armchairs that are regularly used, or one area of the sofa that is regularly used, and that's where the bed bugs are going to be. If you've got an armchair that's never used, they're not going to be on there because there's no food source. So you know your home best, so you know where you spend the most amount of time. So it's quite easy for you to determine, actually, yeah. Well, the same with spare bedrooms. You know, if you've got a spare bedroom, unless by some misfortune you have a spare bedroom and a guest introduced them to that bedroom, in normal circumstances, you're not going to need to treat that room. You're just going to need to treat the occupied rooms because that's where the bed bugs are going to be active. Yeah, so I think we've pretty much covered sofas and armchairs. It seams, gaps, buttons, piping around feet, legs, around that fabric underneath. In some cases, in a heavier infestation, if you found loads underneath the chair, you might want to remove that fabric underneath and just get in there with your vacuum cleaner. Your vacuum cleaner is a really powerful tool against bed bugs. It's literally physical removal. So if you hoover up 10 bed bugs, those are 10 bed bugs that now can no longer go on to bite you, to lay more eggs, and can continue causing you a problem. But remember, you get your vacuum cleaner, you empty it immediately in the room that you're working in, bag up the contents, bag it again just to be on the safe side, seal in with that nice secure knot like I showed you on the home kit video this morning, twist it, tie it. If you do something, bunny ears, people call it bunny ears, where you go like this and you make bunny ears and you tie it up, that is not a sealed bag. Okay, so just remember, twist and tie. Okay, that's a nice secure seal, and that's for your laundry or for any of your bags, any rubbish bags for getting rid of the contents of your vacuum cleaner. We'll be doing another video shortly on mattresses, the wall, sorry, not a mattress, this is a wall, remember. We're going to do something on that as well. Like I say, I don't have my own bed at home, I have a sofa bed, and I'm not feeling energetic enough today to show you how to do it on a sofa bed. So hopefully this has helped you just sort of understand the process a little bit, and we will get on with more videos later. Lovely, like, share, follow the Bedbug Queen, and we'll get there together. All right, have a good afternoon.